Smooth sailing on an unknown sea. Here we go. When the hurricane had passed away on a sandy shore, I was cast away. When the sun came out, I was alone on the sandy shore. I made my home. For 5 long years I watched the sea for a sailing ship to rescue me. There were 3 or 4 who passed right by, and then somehow I caught your eye, and we're smooth sailing on an unknown sea. Destination mystery. And this morning it's good to be smooth sailing on an unknown sea. Our charts are all from olden days and other trips on the ocean waves. Here be dragons, whirlpools foam. Many sail here and few come home, and I don't know why. For all I see is a clear horizon, and you and me. Smooth sailing on an unknown sea. Destination mystery. And tomorrow, if it's up to me, we'll be smooth sailing on an unknown sea. Smooth sailing, smooth sailing, smooth sailing, smooth sailing. Thank you. Thanks. Bye, Amy. Glad you dropped by. Did you? I saw a note. I assume that means sorry, I gotta go. Yeah? Okay. Great. Nice to see you. Appreciate you dropping by. I am going to take a moment and paste, speaking of the chat, this time I'm going to remember. Last time I forgot to paste my chat in my tip jar into the chat box. I really appreciate your contributions. So yeah, that one was aspirational too. Just a dream of, even though the waters are scary, it's smooth right now, and that's what really matters. That really is what matters. I've heard it said that if you don't have a problem right now, you don't have a problem. And that seems a little bit maybe over aspirational, but it's really worth calling to mind. Wait a minute, I'm worried, if I'm worried, what's going to happen? It's all dangerous out there, or anything, there's an infinite number of things to worry about because the human imagination is so limitless. And the future is so big compared to the present. But if I just stop and take inventory, very often the feeling I'm feeling, even the worry itself, it's only a very minor sensation, really. Sometimes it's a good idea to check into the body and say, what am I actually feeling? The thoughts about it, those are pretty dreadful. I'm in anguish. But what's the feeling? What am I feeling in my body? And my assessment is usually most of those bad feelings are somewhere, they're worse than a mosquito bite and not as bad as a stubbed toe. So if I really bracket that feeling and say, yeah, what I'm really feeling in my body right now, it's not as bad as a stubbed toe. And that helps. This one's just a story. I think I told it last week, so please bear with me. But it reflects some values of mine. When I was a kid, actually a teenager, I felt really strongly that I wanted to know somebody completely. That the ideal relationship for me would be somebody that I trusted to know even the worst things in this e-ticket ride in here called a brain. And that if they could accept that in me, that would be the ultimate love. That would be the best. And it's been hard to realize that. I told my mom that. I told my mom that fantasy. I said, wouldn't it be wonderful if you could know somebody completely, all the way deep as it would go? And she said, oh no, you would never want that. And I thought, oh, poor mom. I'm sorry. Whatever pain led to that statement, I feel you. I feel for you. Yeah. It's always been I used to also be a huge Star Trek fan. I watched all the original series when it was on TV for the first time. We religiously watched it. The whole family got around and never missed a Star Trek. And the concept of the Vulcan mind meld was one of the most powerful concepts. I copied other things about Spock too, trying to be emotionless as a 13-year-old. And I found being emotionless felt like a really desirable state. But the mind meld idea just really captured my imagination. And that is intimacy. That is an ideal. So I wrote the Naked Song about the fantasy of that. And here it is. She came out of nowhere, lightning from a clear blue sky. She said, I never talk to strangers, but I can't remember why. She said, you look just like an old friend. No, you really do. And I could use an old friend. How about you? She held up a finger, the usual on the usual hand. There was a ghostly ring upon it, and I began to understand. I showed her mine. I said, hey, look, it eventually goes away. She smiled that crooked smile, and that was all we had to say until we drove away. Talk walking and driving. You get to say the things you feel. You got your eyes upon the highway. You got your hands upon the wheel. She said, I've been building walls so long, I want to tear some down. And it was somewhere near the grapevine, just before we turned around. She turned to me and said, you wanna get naked? And I don't mean your clothes. I wanna stand in front of someone, naked to my soul, naked to my soul, naked to my soul. Can I take your hat? Can I take your coat? Can I take your shoes? Can I take your clothes? Can I take you down, down to the bone? I look out my window, nothing but a clear blue sky. I knew it couldn't last forever, but I can't remember why. I'm building walls again, but not as high as I used to do. So don't be too surprised if one of these fine days I up and say to you, you wanna get naked? And I don't mean your clothes. I wanna stand in front of someone, naked to my soul, naked to my soul, naked to my soul. There it is. I truly believe in that song and what it espouses, and I've fallen short on courage many times, almost all the time. When my son, when my son's mom, this is before I ever wrote the song, my son's mom and I began to date. We'd been good friends, really good friends, for a year and a half, and we decided to do that. We decided we would get married, and after we decided to get married, we decided that we would sit down with food and water and tell each other everything. And the conversation took 8 hours, and I told her all my darkest secrets, and she told me all of hers. And you know, that the quality, the entire quality of that relationship to this day was informed by that discussion. It was a very courageous thing to do. Neither one of us had been married before. Marriage was not even really on the table for me, but I knew I wanted to marry her. And we took that plunge, we took that chance, and it was one of the best things I ever did in my life. So thank you. I really appreciate that. From her, I'm glad to get to tell you that. Yeah. I'm going to sing a song I didn't write. This song has one of the best stories, one of my very favorite stories. I've never played it on these Zoom calls, so it'll be new for you. Back in the 1940s, there were some hippies living in LA. And if that seems like an anachronism, it certainly is. They were 20 years ahead of their time. These people were hippies before there were beatniks. The movement started in Germany. Natural people, I believe, is the translation. Natural humans. And they were absolutely iconic 60s hippies. They had long hair. They lived communally. They owned a vegan raw restaurant and health food store on Laurel Canyon Boulevard in LA. And they had a small following of people. But can you imagine a raw vegan restaurant in LA in 1943 or whatever? It was just amazing. One of the leaders of the group, the leader of the American branch of the group, was a guy named George, who changed his name to Eden Abez and spelled it with lowercase. He didn't capitalize his name. And at one point, he and his communal tribal members were living in a cave near Palm Springs. This was early before the restaurant, I believe. And and he had this song come to him. He said he woke up in the morning and it sounded like a choir of angels was singing this song that I'm about to sing for you. And he wrote down the sheet music and figured out the chords, and he played guitar and he figured out the chords and everything and carried that around with him for years after that. They moved to LA, they went about their business, and one time Nat King Cole came to town. Nat was a part of the Nat King Cole trio. He had a jazz trio, but music was very segregated in those days, and black stars did not record for white music. Pop music was white music, and there was also black music or race music. And Nat was still firmly stuck in the jazz race music category at this time, but he did play a lot, and he was already quite famous. So Eden Abez went to the concert, and he found his way backstage and handed a copy of the sheet music for this song to Nat's manager. Nat's manager did not pass it along, but somehow it fell into the hands of Nat King Cole's chauffeur. And the chauffeur absolutely loved it, and he kept bugging Nat to play it and try it. Finally, Nat played it, and he fell in love with it, and he started to play it in his live shows. He went, after some time of finding this song to be super successful in the live shows, he decided he wanted to record it. And so then, but who wrote it? Where is this guy, Eden Abez? And so he sent a bunch of his people out to try to track this guy down, and they went all over LA and all over the place. Finally, they found him and his tribe living under the second L of the Hollywood sign. And they paid him, they signed a contract, made the record. The record was an enormous hit, and it was Nat King Cole's first crossover into the white audience. That was what put him on the map for the American white people. And he, in fact, it was so he was, until I researched this story, and I had no idea how important Nat King Cole was in crossing that bridge and making black musicians popular in the white world. And in fact, there was an early film that he made of one of his songs where he had to wear white makeup in order to be in the film. But those days ended, and no small thanks to Eden Abez. He made a bunch of royalties. I don't know, $250,000 in royalties on this song, and he split them with the chauffeur. The song's called Nature Boy, and I wrote my own chords to it. It's not the original chords, but it's the same melody. There was a boy, a very strange strange enchanted boy. They say he wandered very far, very far, over land and sea. A little shy and sad of eye, and very wise was he. And then one day, one magic day, he passed my way. And while we talked of many things, fools and kings, this he said to me: the greatest thing you'll ever learn is just to love and be loved in return. And then one day, one magic day, he passed my way. And while we talked of many things, fools and kings, this he said to me: the greatest thing you will ever learn is just to love and be loved in return. Yeah, thank you, Amy.
Would you ever consider doing When I Grow Too Old to Dream by Nat King Cole?
I don't know the song, Dean. Oh my goodness.
It dates back to his old days.
Yeah, I love his music so much. It dates back like into his jazz trio days. When I Grow Too Old to Dream.
It's 1954.
Oh yeah. Well, yes, you bet I would consider doing that song.
Yeah, I don't think I know the song either, and I'm a
The only
I'm a
reason
jazz fan.
I discovered it again was I used to like Northern Exposure, the TV show from back in the 91 to 95 or something like that, and I'm rewatching that again.
Mm-hmm.
And that was in there, and I thought, man, that is a great song. And I looked at, yeah, it's Nat King Cole.
Oh, great.
Trio days. So listen to it, see if it's anything you're interested in.
You know, he
Cool.
he made his fame from his singing voice, but he was a monster piano player too. He was good.
Mm-hmm. I have a couple CDs from the pre-fame trio, from the from the 30s and the 40s, from his trio, and yeah, he's phenomenal. He is phenomenal. I did learn Straighten Up and Fly Right.
What
Yeah.
about Frim Fram sauce?
What's that?
Frim Fram sauce?
No, I don't know that one.
Oh boy, Frim Fram. It's kind of like you're in a diner and he's ordering a meal from the waitress and bring me the Frim Fram sauce with the au soufflé with shafafa on the side.
Those are the days of the music. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
If
let's.
you haven't got it, just bring me a check for the water.
I love it. Yeah, just bring me a check for the water. Oh, that's great. Yeah, there ought to be a rap remix of that. I think that we could use those lyrics in our day and age. Oh, that's beautiful. Wow. Well, my last song of the day is I put it on my Facebook there as that song about frogs. This song is called Breathing Through My Skin. And it's also a dream. It did come about in the moments when a real new relationship was starting. And I took some pieces and bits from songs that I'd started, decades before, and put them together and refined them and adapted them. But this is a little bit like Smooth Sailing in that it's a dream about what that relationship could become. And in many ways, it did. It was in many ways a dream come true. And boy, did she love it when I played it for her. She cried. This song is again a dream or a vision of a kind of style of relationship for myself, and in fact for me and this person. So here we go, Breathing Through My Skin. Oh, the frog reference has to do with the fact that the immediate stimulus for it was when I was reading Smithsonian Magazine, my all-time favorite magazine, and there was an article about frogs in the cloud forests of Costa Rica. And what was happening was that as the climate warmed, the frogs were being pushed a little bit higher and higher into the canopy each year. And the article was, reflecting on the fact that it wasn't going to be too long before they completely lost their habitat. And that they're just extremely sensitive. Went into also how extremely sensitive to other environmental factors frogs are because they're so porous. They are half water creatures still. And they are in communion with the air. And actually quite a bit of their transpiration of oxygen and carbon dioxide comes through their skin instead of through their lungs. They're that ephemeral or that permeable. And I thought, I think I know what that feels like. I think I understand breathing through my skin. Been so long since I felt this fire. Been so long since I moved to this rhythm, to this slow, sweet rhythm. Been so long since I felt this fire. Been so long since I moved to this rhythm. Lazy lips, flesh like no other, slender hand, the hand of a lover. Take your time, unmend my fences, let your hands melt away my defenses. Take from me my old rusty armor, let it fall gently to the floor. Yes, it's you. Do-do-do-do. Yes, it's me. Not a dream, and not a memory. There at last I think I've opened up my senses wide enough to take in the impossible reality of loving you. And then I'm breathing through my skin. I'm breathing through my skin. Now we lie in the presence of forests, air so green, I taste with my body. And now we stand on the cliff top at sunrise, between earth and sky. Take my hand. Wait. I could hang here forever. Let our souls ride. Let's go through this together. There at last I think I've opened up my senses wide enough to take in the impossible reality of loving you. And then I'm breathing through my skin. I'm breathing through my skin. I'm breathing through my skin. Been so long since I felt this fire. Thank you very much. Well, that's all I have prepared, and it's all I have time for today. Is there anything anybody would like to say before we end off?
Great concert as always.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I like your music so much.
Thanks, Naomi. I'm glad you get a chance to hear it. Yeah, glad.
The one song,
We met.
Naked, felt like I knew it, but I've never heard it before.
Well, now isn't
Like-
that cool?
Like it's inevitable or something. It's like, yes, each note and progression, and it just has to be what it is. It's very powerful.
Thanks. I really appreciate that. So that's the highest praise, because the songs that feel that way to me, they're just miraculous. It's one of the greatest joys of being able to write a song, is that feeling of inevitability. And many songwriters tell stories of which songs in their career felt like that to them. And if it sounds inevitable to you, I did it. That's a really good thing to hear.